Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm your host, Sam Adavi, coming to you from the best of the Seal Beach Car Show, presented by OPGI. Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. This is gonna be one awesome car.
And I said, it doesn't even run yet. And look at it now, it's amazing.
Pretty cool old school Ferrari. Actually, it sits on a 1978 Nissan 280Z chassis. Doesn't have an engine in it right now, but we're going to be installing a Ford pushrod engine along with individual throttle bodies. This is going to turn out to be really cool. Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm your host, Sam Adavi. This is the best of Seal Beach, brought to you by OPGI. We could not be in California this year. Instead, we brought you the best of the last 2 years from the Seal Beach Car Show. Mark Stibbe, 1969 Volkswagen Transporter. Mark wanted something different, so after coming off of a farm in California, he decided to buy this 1969 Volkswagen Transporter.
I bought it on a farm in Camarillo, California, and I wanted something different, so we went through the whole car, 100% restoration. It's all electronic now, Porsche 911 spindles on it, and the rotors and the rims and tires, and it's all electronics, got a stroker motor, 2280 in it, an IRS transmission with a freeway flyer, and all leather interior, Alpine stereo system throughout, a nice oil cooling system with the thermostat controlled fans, no air condition, it's old school, you gotta open the windows, that's it. So. But all new rubbers, all new windows, the whole entire car was gone through. We took it all apart, sent out for the paint, motor, and the interior, and then we put it all back together, and the suspension I had sent out too. So.
Ray Dunham's 1936 Ford. After Ray finished his Ford 17 years ago, he decided this is going to be a great car to drive all around Southern California. You can even imagine him listening to the song, I Get Around, while cruising around in his Ford.
36 Ford, 3-window coupe custom, it's channeled, air ride suspension, it's got a blown flat head, 5-speed transmission, so it's real nice to drive on the freeway. You know what? It started with the influence of my oldest brother who was into lifted trucks when we were teenagers, and me restoring antique Schwinn bicycles. And it led through Volkswagens because that's what I could afford when I was in high school. So I went through the phase of lowered Volkswagens with big motors, and then Harley Davidsons, and eventually hot rods, and the 36 is the first hot rod that I built. Honestly, at the time that I purchased the car, I didn't even really know what a 36 Ford was, but the person that I had purchased it from had built the car, and it was just a really, really cool looking car at the time. So I purchased it and then pulled it completely apart, and I had the car chopped and went through the entire car end to end, which was about a 5-year period. Having my son this morning with me was fantastic. On the way down, I actually was almost in tears reflecting on the fact that this is the first show that he's gone to with me where he actually drove one of the cars himself. And you know, it's just a new chapter in our lives.
Jeff Smith's 1950 Mercury. Jeff bought this 50 model Mercury already restored, and he's been enjoying driving it ever since.
1950 Mercury, it's 7 inches cut out of the chop, got a Chevrolet motor in it, sitting on a 78 El Camino chassis. It's got airbags front and rear, automatic, it's got power steering, power brakes, power windows, power seats, air conditioning if I missed that. It's got a Chevrolet 300 horse crate motor in it. 350 turbo hydro, got a 272 rear end gear in it. The House of Color Brandy Wine paint job, it's got ghost flames in it. The base is a black base underneath the candy. Real nice color. Little metallic in it. It's got disc brakes in the front, drum in the back. They're power. It stops real nice. It rides real nice on the freeway. That raises up about 6 inches with the airbags to drive it down the street. It's like driving a boat. You know, you get a boat and you give it the gas, how the nose raises up, you gotta get up in the seat to look over the hood. But it's not claustrophobic at all. There's plenty of room in the car because the seats are sitting 4 inches down into the floor of the car and the body's channeled over the frame.
Hope you're enjoying the show. We'll be right back. Lokar Car Show, presented by Appalachian Backroads. Appalachian Backroads, Virginia is for lovers. Original Parts Group Incorporated, unbeatable quality, price, and in-stock selection for GM restoration and high-performance parts. NH Oil Undercoating Incorporated, NHOU, the official oil-based rust-proofing system. Lokar Performance Products, quality, plain and simple. It's time for the Lokar Lowdown with Kevin Ford.
For many years, Lokar's made pedals for all kinds of cars, different applications, and many different styles. As you know, over the years, styles change, so we try to change with them. What we've done now is we've come up with a pedal that fits a resto mod or a modern muscle car that's kind of subdued, and we call that our resto mod series. These are billet aluminum pedals. They're available in anodized clear or black. Great rubber pads with a styling cue to the factory pedals. They've got the performance of a Lokar pedal with our Delrin bushings, our throttle cables, Teflon lined, everything you can think of. It works great. These bolt in with a simple drill through your pad, bolt it on with the included hardware. Gas pedals bolt into your factory location. With this new look, you can't go wrong. I even use them in my personal car.
Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show. Let's get back to the best of Seal Beach. Raul Ahumada's 1967 Land Rover Series 2A 109 Caravan. Raul was a police officer when he came across this 67 Land Rover. He noticed the pile of parking tickets underneath the windshield, so he decided to contact the owner and ended up taking this Land Rover home.
10 years ago, I found this vehicle. I was a police officer in this local area. I found this vehicle parked. It was dirty, had parking tickets on it. Contacted the owner, wondered if they were interested in selling it. They were. Basically, in 1967, you can contact Land Rover dealership, and they offered what they called a caravan package, which was to take one of their stock 109s and make it into a camper. They used a company called Dormobile to do that. If your car wasn't in England, have this conversion, they would box up all the parts and send it anywhere in the world, and then you could have the conversion done there. The motor is a 2.25 liter motor. It's basically a farm tractor motor. These were actually considered to be agricultural. They ship these all over the world. So they shipped them to plantations and farms and ranches. They were built to go 1,000 miles out and 1,000 miles back. All you had to do is have petrol with you, baling wire and some basic tools, and you can fix them. It even has a hand crank start on the front in case your starter went out.
Paul Coane's 1948 Mercury Woody Wagon. When we asked Paul how did he come across this beautiful Mercury, he said a lot of time and money, of course.
It has a ZZ4 Corvette motor, 355 horsepower, crate motor. Just comes with the plugs, the carburation, the air conditioning, everything. Yep, it gets up and runs. I have a overdrive, 700R transmission overdrive when I go on the freeway. It likes to purr around about 80 miles an hour. You gotta watch it. Oh no, I drive it to dinner. I even let people valet park it. I'm not afraid, you know, I built this to drive. And so many people, they don't want people touching it and stuff. And you know, as long as they're careful, it's not gonna hurt the car. It's like any other car. So I was just telling this gentleman just a while back, this is one of the best ones. They have like 20,000 people that come through here. And it's always been so clean, so nice. They get you in and out real quick. They're well organized. Really, it's the best show I go to. And I go to a lot.
Neville Ohm's 1969 Camaro. Neville and his crew completely stripped this Camaro down to its bare chassis, giving it a frame-off restoration.
So this particular vehicle, it was actually built for Pioneer Electronics, and it's one of 3 cars that we built for the company that I used to work for. The company was called 5 Axis, and we had a contract with Pioneer to build 3 69 Camaros. This is the Stage 3 Camaro, which is Pro Touring level. And then we came back and totally stripped it down to a bare chassis, and then built it back up, did all the sheet metal repair. We then got in some sponsorship through Chevrolet Performance, Heights, and Pioneer Electronics from there. This is where all the components come in. And so we have a modern fuel injection engine called the LSA, which is a Chevrolet Performance crate engine. You can buy that brand new. 556 foot-pounds of torque. And it has the Heights suspension, which is all coilover and tubular suspension. So it's better geometry, obviously, for the front. And at the rear, we have the Heights independent rear suspension setup. This gives the ride height of the car, it drops it 3 inches overall. And so, the car is an accumulation of, a lot of man hours and stuff. It has a custom dash, it has a custom center console. And then once again, it's all about showcasing the Pioneer Stage 3 components.
We have to go to a break. We'll be right back. Now this is a rare one. This is a 1993 Nissan Skyline. As you can see, it's right-hand drive, imported straight from Japan. These didn't come to the United States until 2009 when the R35 GTR came out. These come in 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive versions. Very rare car. Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show. Darren Smith's 1964 C10 pickup. When purchasing parts from someone at a farm, Darren picked up this 1964 C10.
This little truck behind us started out as a little farm truck out in Norco, California. I went out to buy some parts from a guy, and he had a couple short bed pickups sitting out there and kind of clapped out and worn out. So I picked this truck up, and a few years ago, I gave it to my right-hand man, Gino, as a Christmas bonus, because it was a cheap truck. I picked up 2 trucks for under $3 grand. Really no rust. So our little pickup here behind us, Jegs gave us a 383 Stroker motor. So we put that in there. So we got a hot small block with about 500 horsepower, got a Hillborn electronic fuel injection on it, and man, it runs good. That direct injection, nothing runs better than that. And got an automatic transmission, got a turbo 400 in there, got a Eaton posi in the thing, 373 gears, because Gino wants to have it somewhat streetable to get around, drive across town for the local car shows. Thing rides great. It sits low, it handles, it rides terrific, and it doesn't bounce the crap out of you and all that kind of stuff like you might expect sitting that low. It's really a nice driving pickup truck with power, everything. I love it.
Jerry and Kathy Garner's 1932 Ford Cabriolet. Kathy knew exactly what she wanted, so she told her husband Gary to find her a 1932 Ford, and so he did. She fell in love with it at love at first sight.
What happened is we've always been interested in the Deuce coupes. When we were kids, when we were like 16, we always wanted one. And so my husband asked me, what kind of car do you want? Because we already have a coupe. And he said, I told him I want a 1932. Cabriolet is great. And I said, I want it to be all Ford. And he said, okay. So about 2 years later, he found my car in Fort Myers, Florida. So we flew out there, and I looked at the car, and I fell immediately in love with the car. And so we bought it. We had it shipped out here, and I drive it. It has a 347 Stroker engine in it. It's got a C6 tranny. It's just so much fun. I just have a ball with it. And we drive it to a lot of shows. We probably do 35 shows a year. And we have his car too that we do, and we just have such a great time together. But I just like the idea that I'm a girl and I'm a hot rod and I own a hot rod. So that's my thing. I wanted to have a hot rod and I got one.
Gary Lindsay's 1948 Plymouth. After Gary got his son's 48 Plymouth up and running, his son said, "You know what, Dad? You can have it if you do something with it." That's exactly what Gary did. He restored it.
Well, I picked it because it's different. You see a lot of Fords and Chevys around. You don't see many Plymouths. And my family's background is racing Mopowers, Chrysler products. The motor that's in there is out of a Superbird that we used to run at Bonneville Salt Flats. We ran it from 70 to 82. Well, one of my sons, it was a running 48 Plymouth. One of my sons brought it over to my house because it wasn't running. It was a stock car. And he asked me, can I get it running? I got it running. He says, "I'll give you this car, Dad, if you do something with it." So from that point, that's when I started working on the car. It was actually set up originally for pro stock drags. Once I got into it, I put too much into it, and I didn't want to tear it up that way, so I made a show car out of it. It's a 426 Hemi with a 5/8 stroker, and an 871 blower, and a Hilborn fuel injection. The 814 on a dyno. That's what it's putting out. So it actually rides pretty good. The suspension, it's an Art Morris frame. Suspension runs really well. It's just a handful. You have to be real careful with it.
The Nissan Skyline is known to be one of Japan's most iconic sports cars. Been around a long time, but they've really advanced technology the last 20 years. We'll be right back after these messages. Lokar Car Show, presented by Appalachian Backroads. Spearhead Trails, get out and explore. H&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. Brothers Truck Parts, #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck parts. Stage 8, the world's best locking fasteners. I'm here on OPGI's website ordering my disc brake conversion for my 67 Cadillac. They got lots of restoration parts and high performance parts for Pontiacs, Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, even Oldsmobile. Very easy to navigate. You might want to check out their site. Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show.
Well, this is the 31st year for the Seal Beach Car Show. We've been a major sponsor of this show for many years, and we always seem to kind of luck out with the weather here. It's, late April, but it's another perfect day here. This show, I mean, we're local here. Our shop's about 2 miles from here, so a lot of people in this area know of us anyway, but we get a lot of people from out of town that come in and get a chance to see us, pick up a catalog, look at the cars, and just hear about what our latest products are, that kind of thing. It's just a small beach town here. Cars would come in here, mostly driver quality cars, and then just over the years it's turned into, you get a lot of high-end show cars here. And a lot of people coming from all over Southern California, they register early and get their cars into this show. So it's just a real good selection of high quality vehicles. Everything foreign and domestic is here.
Before we announce our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Joe Alduenda, 1950 Mercedes 170S. Kent Fulmer, 1944 Tudor. Rocky Seiss, 1955 Chevrolet. Bill Epson's 1941 Ford 110 3/4 panel truck. A good friend of Bill's knew that he loved panel trucks, so after looking around, he found Bill a 41 model. He picked it up because he knew that him and Bill would have a lot of fun working on another project together, and they did an awesome job.
Well, a good friend of mine who's been doing work for me for about 30 years knew I like panel trucks, and he found it, and I think he was maybe looking for a project to do, so we got together on it. He had quite a vision. We, of course, worked together on what we were going to do to it and stuff, but he's done so much work for me, he knew what I liked. So took the body off of the old chassis and frame and put it on a 2006 Chevy one-ton carpool van. There's quite a bit of other body work that was done, too. It's a LQ4. It's a cast iron 6-liter truck motor. The bore and the stroke's a little bit different, so it's about 300 horsepower. Dickie, the guy who did the truck and stuff, he works with some people. Rodriguez did the upholstery, and then Bob's Bedwork did the wood in the floor and the headliners, surfboard.
Hope you guys agree with our selection of the best of Seal Beach. See you next week. Hope you enjoyed seeing the best of the Seal Beach Car Show that's been going on now for 33 years. Join us next week for a special episode where we show you how you can shine up your ride and get it ready for your next car show.